goes anywhere. But essentially, all the worlds follow a basic premise. But the centre of the world is the softest part. That would be where you spawn.
Oh, I get what you're saying. So every time I try and find the end of the world, I come on something weird. But that time you went north, it was just a route. If you just happen to
User in your channel timed out.
Just later, bro. Oh, good.
User entered your channel.
Well, that ain't a problem, is it? So
No.
we're back on that one.
Any theories?
Yeah, no, not at all. The guy up the road's having some telephone work done, I don't know. Yeah, but we've had lads going up and down the telephone pole, so it's probably just that.
Anyway, I was saying that we came back from the deep north by sea.
Yeah.
So there is a route that goes through normal kind of biomes.
Yeah.
So presumably there was more than one way to do that.
Oh yeah. Well, if you look at the map generator and look at your world, then you'll see.
This is
Well, it's worth you opening up the map generator and going to a random world, and then zoom out of it, see how the world generates its maps. It'll give you a clearer idea, because they're not as generated as you might imagine, and that's because when they did the game, they had to secure key areas for future builds in order to release the game.
Ooh.
So everybody gets an ASHLANDs, everybody gets a deep north, and everybody follows the same pattern. Your soft spot is the centre, then it works out to Black Forest, then to mountain, and then to plains. And when they colour code it and you look at it on the map, you'll see that essentially it's done like a bullseye. It's done like in rings.
Yeah.
So if you want to guarantee yourself of finding a place, you know you've only got to sail so far out, and, dig it up, as it were. But you can find any biome in anywhere essentially. But you shouldn't find any mistlands near the centre, or,
And the lads looking for the space or a link between the Atlantic and the Pacific.
Now it is a bit like that getting through the mistlands. You are gonna take your life in your hands. Occasionally you'll see a gap, you'll go for it, and you'll think you're on your way. But the way the mistlands is laid out, you could easily just be sailing straight into the middle of it with no return. No, tricky, innit? All I can say is make sure you're pointing north or south at any one time and sticking to as much open water as you can.
North or south?
Well, it depends where you're going, Ashland or deep north.
We've been sailing for days, but not down the route south.
There'll be a load of route south.
You'd think so.
I know, so there's nothing that's especially joined up. When you look at them on the generator, the further out you get, the more shattered the islands become, more like an archipelago. So they're all quite sort of smatterings. There'll be lots and lots of routes out.
The mistlands is the problem.
I mean, you're just going to have to play a game of avoidance, you know? Sail out there, suddenly you hit the mistlands, just try and keep away as much until you get to a point where you find yourself in the mist and probably too near to danger. And then it's either retrace your steps or employ the powers of Moda and get the fuck out of there. Did you see the pictures that I put up of the new Mistland?
When you put 'em up.
Oh, I don't know, was it a day or two ago? But here's the point. They're getting very close to launching that. And when they do it, it's going to be pretty much the same as the Mistland now. So there's a very strong chance that everyone's going to need a new server, all that bollocks. I would say that if you don't do it now, you're going to find it too hard because, you know, they're not going to introduce the ASHLANDs and make it softer than the Mistlands is where you're at. So if you want to get down there and establish a point, base, whatever, now is the time to be doing that because
I've been trying to do that for a week.
very shortly it's going to be out of anyone but end levels. You know, the premise is that you go down there, you build something, and the generation doesn't cover it. It keeps it where it is. No, it didn't pan out that way with Mistlands. I'm just saying, it didn't pan out that way. I've had mountains cut bases off and shit. But the shit that you'll want the most, especially things like portals and stuff like that, should remain. Tricky, very tricky. Right, going for a fag anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Keep
yourself geared up. You could. Yeah, I'm just thinking about it, and it is a tricky one for you. It is a tricky one. But here's the thing, you know, when I sailed through it and did all ASHLANDs and everything, it was dead land. It was a big non-threat, and I was going past an awful lot of cobwebs and bloody, you know, all the circle stuff that you go through. So yeah, I could see why it's a little bit tricky for you.
Well, each of the routes has had massive dead ends, sandbars, traffic lanes, or whatever.
Yeah.
But the biggest ones, the most promising routes, have all ended in mistlands.
You might have to go through them. You just might. Look at my generator world thing. Deep north. Let's just go south and have a look down there. Alright, see, I had a pretty clear run. You know, I've clipped at the side, I'm seeing it all as I'm going past it all, but one or two spots are a little bit tight.
You know that ancient thing that I climbed up? The glowy bar thing?
Oh yes, yeah,
What is
yeah.
that? Is that the base of the big tree in the sky?
It is, yeah, but you won't be able to climb up it. If you're going to go to the... You can go to the big tree in the sky at any time by going into one of the dungeons. You know, the Black Forest dungeons?
Go on.
Well, all those are actually, even though it looks like you're going underground, all those are built at the highest point in the map above the tree. And you can clip outside of the dungeon a number of ways and fall out of it and float down. You're going to die when you hit the floor is where you're at, unless you've got a feather coat. If you don't have the feather coat, then you're going to have to hope that you hit water, aren't you? Or you could just go up there bollock naked and then it doesn't matter.
This sounds like going to Mexico and Red Dead.
It's a little bit. I mean, they've known about it. They've known about it for a long time, and I think they're just happy to leave it that way. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those little perky things. Someone found it, so you can have it. That kind of shit. Because it doesn't amount to anything. It's not like you can do anything when you're there. I think one of the easiest ways that I've seen to do it is, if you look, you can build a. Let me look at my building tool here, see which bloody one it is. It would be. All right, yeah, using core wood. So if you take 2 core wood and a bench with you into any dungeon and put the core wood as close as you can so that it clips inside a wall, then you can build it there and then press the E key to sit on it and you'll fall through the wall, as it were. You'll be able, when you stand back up, you'll see you sort of half in, half out. Or one of the other ways that you can do it is you can stand by one of the doors that opens in the dungeons, in the crypts. It's a little bit trickier. You've got to stand at the door jamb so that when the door closes, it wants to complete the animation, but it pushes you through the wall a little bit. At that point, again, your head's sort of half in, half out, because it has got some bad clipping as the game, you know, that's just the way that one's panning out. And at that point, you should be able to sort of ease yourself out of the wall. And if you're quick enough, you can actually jump up on top of the crypts. You can actually just jump up on top of it, and you'll see all the crypts around you. You know, they're all just floating in the sky, way, way above the tree line. At that point, if you've got the feather cape, you can fly from one side of the world to the other. Because I mean, we're talking really high up here, way higher than the tree. Well, now, you won't be getting no feather cape until you've been to the Mistlands.
No, I was killed by a sea serpent.
Oh, yeah, see if he's got a bloody trophy. Them bitches are getting a bit rare on the ground.
He looks really annoyed. And he's trying to...
Yeah, they always look annoyed. You can tame them, you know.
And he's driving me into the Mistlands.
You know, I said before, you should really think about taming yourself some wolves, is what you should do.
Well, during the old attack last night, I have a major problem, so I'm just going to have to deal with that for a moment. Shit, I'm going to crash into the Mistlands.
That's the spirit. It does go that way.
Let's see. Yeah.
Can't see shit. Really dicing me death in the Mistlands. Big time.
Didn't really want to go here. It was a mistake.
Yeah, I made a mistake, yeah. It'll happen very fast and very quickly in the Mistlands is what you're looking at. The first time something shows up, you're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't really matter what turns up, to be honest. You know? If you see a blue light, just try and run towards it, because you're still friendly with them, so they'll protect you, they'll see off whatever. There's loads of diverger camps and buildings and mines and all sorts kicking about. If you can get in there, then they'll help you, but only while you're there, you know what I mean? You've still got to get out and about. On the other hand, everything that you pick up in there would be good. Especially anything growing. Your Jontoon puff and stuff like that. A lot of that shit you can just eat.
I shot the bloody whatnot.
Shot a bloody what?
Serpent.
I haven't ran into the bloody whatnot yet.
No, it's coming now, isn't it?
Yeah, sea serpent.
He's finding all kinds of stuff we haven't found yet.
Thank you. Yeah, great job, z0wkey, killing the sea serpent from the Mistlands. Hello.
But now, sea serpents aren't so bad. They aren't what you want to worry about.
It was, well...
You're going to get lots of warning of anything bad happening by way of the sounds that they all make, and they all make their own little sounds there. So I would say it's definitely a listening thing. Just go very slowly, don't be tempted to leg it anywhere. Shit'll rip you up like you won't fucking believe when you're in that place.
I can't believe it. I get ripped up real quick in the other ones. Imagine that was way worse.
Yeah, rip you up, and then it's a major challenge getting your stuff back. Absolutely no question it's a harder place to be than the plains. So if you can't master the plains, then you ain't got no goddamn business being in Mistlands.
I don't want to be here. The game is making me go here.
Tell him, Bob. Tell him.
Yeah, I'm calling shit on that one.
Yeah, I'm glad. It's
What do you call it?
death on the stick.
This was your idea to go here. You brainwashed me.
Yeah, I'm just repairing my boat before the bloody thing dies over here again. It is moving round, that's why they keep losing my boats here. It's because the ocean currents are just moving the boat round. Didn't think they could move like that once you come out of them. Yeah, now I got puffer fish. Ah, she's a bitch, isn't she? Is it Cindy singing?
No.
I don't hear anyone sing.
That's my moan.
Not a name you hear very often, Bob. Is that her actual name?
Yeah.
Very unusual. Italian, I think, isn't it?
I don't. Honey, are you Italian? No, it's not Italian.
It's great, great.
Okay, I'll tell her. John says you